Okay, before I start, I decided, if you look at your homework, it's 1 through 19 odds, and there's a lot of knots, so keep in, don't do the knots. Don't do 3, don't do 7, don't do 6, 17, which is, those are already there. I just added one more, don't do 15. I think you have about 7 problems to do today then, if you don't do 3, 7, 17, and 15, so keep that in mind. Okay, these notes should only take about 8 or 9 minutes to teach you 3.1 today. So the first thing we're gonna learn is, let's put a dot here and label this A, and put a dot over B here and label it B, and so on. So the first part of the assignment, you have to give me the coordinates of A, and the coordinates of A are 1, 2, and the coordinates of B are a -2, 0. And I think you guys know how to do part 1. So that's it for the template for part 1. Okay, part 2, you have to find the midpoint and distance. These are the midpoint formula and the distance formula. I can give these to you on the test. You just had this in geometry a couple of years ago, but to find the midpoint, you add your x's together and divide by 2. You add your y's together and divide by 2, and we'll do an example. To find the distance between 2 points, it's the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So let's do an example. Let's find the midpoint first of all. To find the midpoint, you add your x's together. These two are your x's, -2 plus 4, and divide by 2. And to find the midpoint of the y's, you add the -5 and the 6 together and divide by 2. A -2 plus 4 is 2, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. A -5 plus 6 is 1. So the midpoint between these 2 points is 1, 1/2. Okay, now we're going to find the distance between these 2 points. I'm going to do it right here, distance. It's the square root of x2 minus x1, well this is x2 is 6, minus, or sorry, x2 is 4, caught myself, x2 is 4, minus x1, which is a -2, squared, plus the second y is 6, minus the first y squared. And you're going to get 2 negatives equal a positive, so 4 plus 2 is 6, and 6 squared is 36, plus 6 plus 5 is 11, and 11 squared is 121. It equals the square root of 157, and simplify your square roots if you can, but I don't think you can in this one. Okay, let's just do one more. Let's find the midpoint and distance. Let's just do one more to make sure you know what you're doing. 4, 2, and a -6, 0. To find the midpoint, you add your x's together and divide by 2. To find the midpoint of your y's, you add the y's and divide by 2. You are going to get, this makes a -2 divided by 2, you're going to get a -1, 1 for your midpoint. To do the distance, it's the square root of y2, oh I'm starting again, x2 I meant, x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, which gives us a -10 squared plus a -2 squared, and I'm going to come up here to show you that a -10 squared is 100, and a negative 2 squared is 4, which makes a square root of 104, but make sure you simplify the square root of 104. I'm going to make myself a tree, 2 and 52, 2 and 2 and 26. 26 is made up of 2 and 13, but that's not going to be enough, so we have enough to at least take a 2 out, root 26. So the distance is 2 root 26. Okay, the next page I'm going to skip, and then I'm just going to go to this one. I've seen this one on the ACTs. It might be part of your homework, but I've seen this on the ACT. Given that 4, 8 is a point, A, and the midpoint, and you know that B is down here, and your midpoint is 614, they want you to find the other point. Well, by drawing a picture, your x's go 4, your midpoint is 6. Well, you should know what your x value is. If you went 4, 6, your x value is going to be 8. Your y value goes 8, 14, it goes up by 6, so that means your y value must be 20. I can check it. 614 is supposed to be halfway between these two, and I'll just show you. I take my two x's and I add them up and I divide by 2. 12 divided by 2 does equal 6, so I found the right B value for the midpoint of 614. Okay, the last problem. We are not going to have anything like part 3 for homework today. But the last problem is on the test, and you have to know how to do this. So you're supposed to find a formula that expresses the fact that an arbitrary point is on the perpendicular bisector of the segment AB. So basically, I'll show you a picture of this. A negative 3, 2 is right here, and 5, negative 4 is right here, and that is the line between those two. What we are going to do is we are going to find a line segment. We're going to find a line segment which is perpendicular to that black line. That is the perpendicular bisector, which cuts it in half also. It's 90 degrees, that red line, and it also cuts the black line in half. If it breaks the black line in half, then these two are equal to each other. So all I do is I'm going to set from A to P equal to, so this is some point in the middle, and I'm going to set this equal to this. From A to P and from P to B, I'm going to just set them equal to each other, because if they truly are perpendicular bisectors, then from A to P is equal to B. And A is a negative 3, 2, and B is 5, negative 4, and P, we don't know what it is, it's x, y. So what we are going to do is we need to do the distance formula on both sides, because we're going to find the distance from A to P, the distance, and we're going to find the distance from P to B and set them equal to each other, because they have to be equal, because it's supposed to be the perpendicular bisector. So we are going to have variables on both sides, because the distance formula says to take the second x and subtract it from the first x and square it, plus take the second y and subtract it from the first y. Take the second x and subtract it from the first x, plus the second y and subtract it from the second y, Again, I did this, and that's this part over here, and then I took the 5 and the negative 4 and the x and the y, and that's over here. And now all I'm going to do is simplify all this for my final answer. So it's going to end up being x plus 3 squared plus y minus 2 squared. Just changed color on me. Equals the square root of x minus 5 squared plus y plus 4 squared. X plus 3 squared. This is what some people are doing wrong on last week's test. Some people think that x plus 3 squared is x squared plus 9. That is wrong. X plus 3 times x plus 3 equals x squared plus 6x plus 9. That's what that equals. And some of you, that's what you're doing wrong on the test. Plus, again, I take y squared minus 4y plus 4. You'd have to show that y minus 2 times y minus 2. Again, I'd probably come over here and show my work. That's really 2y minus 2's, which is y squared minus 4y plus 4. Equals, do the same thing over here. This is going to be x squared minus 10x plus 25 plus y squared plus 8y plus 16. So all I did was I did the FOIL method 4 times in this problem. And now I'm going to square both sides, and when I square both sides, I get rid of the square root. So you're left with x squared plus 6x plus 9 plus y squared minus 4y plus 4 equals x squared minus 10x plus 25 plus y squared plus 8y plus 16. So all I did was square everything. Now, all I have to do is bring everything over to one side of the problem. So when I bring the x squared over, it will cancel out the x squared. If I bring the y squared over, they will cancel each other out. Now I'm going to show the rest of it. 6x, the negative 10y comes over to join positive 10x. My 9 stays 9, my negative 4y stays negative 4y, my plus 4. The only thing I brought over was a negative 10x. I still need to bring over the 25. I still have to bring over the 8y. And I also need to bring over the negative 16. So I brought everything over to one side of my problem. I did take a shortcut. I did take away the x squared and the y squared since they were the same on each side. Now I'm just going to simplify it. 6x and 10x makes 16x. Negative 4y and a negative 8y makes a negative 12y. And I can put all 4 of these together. And all 4 of these together make a negative 28 equals 0. 16x minus 12y equals 28. So the cool thing is, once I get y alone, I'm just going to show you can leave it like this on the test, but when you get y alone, by dividing everything by negative 12, you're going to get y equals a negative 7/3 plus 4/3 x. This equation should be, if I did it right, should be the equation of that red line up there. This should be y equals a negative 7/3 plus 4/3 x. So let's check it. Does that look like it hit at almost a negative 7/3? And is the slope up 4 and over 3? We just found the equation for the red line. You might want to watch the video on this particular problem over again, but you will have this on the test, so you have to know how to do this for the test. And that's all the notes for today.